Hey there, Soul Tribe. It is the Joy Healer, Kathy Weiss here. I use my gifts as an intuitive and clairvoyant to help you find deep fulfillment and freedom at the level of your soul, which is joy. And I am coming to you live from my reading room here on the Central Coast of California. I've got your weekly intuitive and clairvoyant energy reading for the week of March 9th through the 15th, 2020. Keep in mind, if you come across this video some other point in the future, there's something in here that you need to hear. A lot of times there is juice and goodness hidden inside these messages that are relevant whether you come across from them the week that they first came out or at another point in time. That I ridiculously stoked on today's messages. But before we dive in, I'm going to do just a tiny brief moment of energy healing. And the way that I do that is through colored light. If you want to receive the energy healing, you'll have your hands in an open receptive position. Mine are going to be up towards the camera like this. You could have yours facing up by your sides, palms open, however you like, it's all good. And you might feel like a sense of tingling or warmth in your body. You might feel a little bit like emotionally lighter. You might also not feel anything and wonder if it's even working. The answer is yes. Sometimes we don't actually notice or even feel when energy healing happens. So all of those are normal responses. If you are not interested, you're new to it, you're kind of curious, but you don't want to receive the energy, that's totally fine too. Just place your hands in a gentle closed position, little fists or palms down on your chest or your lap, and that'll just tune you out or turn you off from today's energy healing. So let's get started with that, because I just so excited today for what we've got going on. So I'm just going to take a moment. And so how it works for me is I get a sense of the divine white light flowing in through the crown of my head and then down to my heart and out through my arms and hands. And as it moves out through my hands, I have a sense of the color of light that would be most beneficial for those of you who are choosing to receive today. And that color today is a really pretty bright blue, like a bright sapphire sort of electric blue coming through today. And it has a little bit of a pulsation, not as much as last week. It's a little bit more of a steady stream today. And I can almost see that even though your hands are open, it's more like pouring over the crown of your head and down the sides of your neck and shoulders and sort of pouring over your body that way. But it's warm and oozy, like syrup. I wanted like warm syrup. I don't know. I mean, it's not sticky like that, but that's kind of the texture or viscosity. Should feel pleasant. Or again, it might not feel like anything at all. Okay, complete on that. You can put your hands down, open your eyes if you close your eyes along with me there. Can we so dive into this week's energy? Last week ended up being not hectic, but like really full. It was like all of a sudden, a lot of us had a lot going on, and it was a good thing, but it was like the next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, almost like we couldn't quite catch our breath with all of the fullness and abundance of our lives. None of it was bad, it was just a lot. And as we slide into this week, I see a car in neutral, like a stick shift car, like how people like rock the stick in neutral. It's like, yep, car's in neutral, car's in neutral. And I can even hear like the rumblings of this car in neutral. We're going to hang out in neutral for about 3 or 4 days. And this is a great thing because somewhere around Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to have to decide if you're going to slam your car into forward and like go full steam ahead, hardcore forward, or if you're going to slam your car into reverse and go full steam, crazy town reverse. No other choices this week. It's either hardcore forward or hardcore reverse. Here's the thing though, they're both good and they're both appropriate responses. So I channeled a couple of notes about that for you, what source energy wants you to know about moving from neutral into either forward or reverse. And if you have questions or you need some clarity as we go along, pop them down here in the comments. Or you can also give me like a thumbs up or a heart, like, yeah, I'm with you. I know what you got going on, sister. So here's the thing. We're not always supposed to move forward in life. And this is based on how things feel. How things feel, not how you think they're supposed to go in your brain, how they actually feel and how they're going for you. So sometimes we explore some aspect of life to discover what doesn't feel good, to discover what we don't really want, or things that aren't right for us, so that we can figure out what does, right? Sometimes you got to bump up against what doesn't feel good and what doesn't feel right to know that that's the case for you and to move in a different direction. So when you do bump up against something that does not feel good, that means it's time to go in reverse. We all get to those places. I've been in that place multiple times in my life. So you might need to turn around and backtrack to that point where things do feel good for you. And that is going to be your new starting point. And what's cool about that is just because you went back to that place, you didn't lose ground, right? You're taking all of the knowledge and wisdom you gained about the thing that didn't feel good. So when you get to the new starting point, you're going to move in a completely different forward direction, but you got to back up to that place first. Or you might have to complete the 180 and go in reverse, but through that old starting point backwards even further into a completely different direction. So just know that reverse is sometimes a really good thing, and it's indicated when something doesn't feel good, when you don't feel like yourself, when you've got a lot of anxiety, when things aren't feeling right. Okay, or sometimes you might go sideways with both the forward and the reverse in sight as you move in a different direction. But what I'm hearing really for this week, again, like on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, March 9th through the 15th, 2020, you're going to have to choose either hardcore forward or hardcore reverse. And the sideways thing isn't really so much an option right now. And again, this is based on what you feel. Like, this is written huge, like multiple times, guys, based on how you feel, not on how you think things are supposed to go. Okay, because your emotions are your indicator. Your brain is the logistics. So the brain is like, okay, this isn't, or your heart is like, this doesn't feel good. So then your brain is like, here's how we figure out the new direction. We good? I'm gonna assume we're good, unless somebody wants to like me or heart me, or not me, but the message. I know you like me, but if you want to heart the message, because I do also have a channeled message for you guys for today, and I channeled this message on the 8th. Oh, just yesterday I channeled this message. But what was really cool about it is it just like sort of popped up. It was like all of a sudden I had an urgency, like I have to write this down right now. This message has to come through. And once it came through, I didn't remember. Like, I had absolutely no clue what I wrote down for the message. And I was told, don't go back and read it again until you're doing the live with your people. So I kind of feel like this is going to be a new message for me as much as it is for you guys. So again, questions or comments, you're welcome to throw them down there. I might throw in a comment as we're going through the message as well. I hear a little bit of curiosity about how I channel messages, but the collective guides of source are saying, like, let's not get into that right now. We'll talk about it another day or another time, because they want us to get into the message. So it says, time-weary travelers must remember there is no time. Present and persistence drives the future. What we are getting at is this: age does not matter. Future does not matter. Past does not matter. Presence, present. We mean this. The urgency you feel to get it right, figure it out, and arrive in a state of alignment is now. Now, now, now. It's now. So put down the phone, not until we're done with the messages. Don't put down the phone until we're done. But in general, right? Put down the phone, the pen, the tablet, the book, the TV, the distractions, the beer, the buzz, the booze, the drugs. Open your door and walk outside. Sit on the step, the stoop, the porch, the landing, the ground. Observe. Breathe. Watch. Listen. Feel. What impulses do you have? For the former, the urgency to figure things out. That's what they're talking about with the former. What do you feel? How are you searching for alignment? The distraction junk we listed, sit longer. Oh, okay. And see, I didn't even quite catch on to what they meant there, so let me go back to that. So we open the door, walk outside, sit on the step or the stoop, the porch or the ground or the chair, whatever you've got, and listen and observe and watch and feel. What impulses do you have in that moment when you're sitting and observing? Do you have an impulse to pick the phone up and get back on the interwebs? Do you have an impulse to smoke a cigarette? Do you have an impulse to grab a beer? Any of those things, those distractions. If you have an impulse for the distraction, sit longer. Stay still. And listen, and then true to your heart, those impulses will pass. Those impulses for the distractions will pass. I swear this to be true. I'm going to tell you a little personal tidbit to illustrate that in a second. What rises from within, that is your answer, large or small or seemingly inconsequential, right? The urgency to find the things that feel right and figure it out and get into a state of alignment. That's going to rise from your heart, whether it's a big thing or a small thing, or it doesn't matter. What rises from within is in the now. It's in the present moment. That's the reason. That's the purpose, the alignment, the answer, the path to your joy and your soul. Oh, and your soul-centered living. This message is complete and we love you. Amen. I feel really strongly I need to drop in this personal note to help you understand what they're saying about like turn off the distractions and like wait out the impulse to get on or into the distractions. So here's the thing. For me, in the mornings, I'm super tapped in to source and messages and information. And yet I have a tendency, like most of us, to fire up my devices, turn on the computer, and I'm just going to check the weather. Okay, I could like freaking look out the window to see the weather, right? And just checking the weather can very quickly turn into consuming Facebook or news or travel or whatever information. And when I go down those roads, this stuff goes away. The channeled messages, the information, the healing. It takes longer and more effort for me to find it again. And so I have been guided in the last couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, that I don't turn on my devices first thing in the morning. I don't. And when I say first thing in the morning, I mean from the time I get up until I have had some tea and some breakfast and shower and meditation and channeled any messages and all of those things. And that can take 2 to 3 hours depending on what's coming through. But I will tell you what, guys, holy moly, in the silence of not firing up the devices and not jumping into my distractions, right? My distractions typically are consuming stuff on the internet. If I can avoid those distractions, like the coolest shit is coming up, you guys, including an online class I'm going to be personally inviting some of you to next week. It's called Money is the Vibration of Love, and I am only doing personal invites for this. I'm not going to do like a big email blast or anything. So if you want a personal invitation to that online class, message me or private message me your email address so that I can send you that personal invitation. But I guarantee you I wouldn't have had that insight if I was sitting there scrolling through the news or whatever it was, instead of waiting for what was true in my heart to come up and out. And that's really what this message is about. And it ties into the whole, like, we're in neutral right now, but we're going to have to kick it into gear, right? So later this week, when you've got to make a choice, are you plowing ahead forward or are you going backwards? It comes from the silence. And I'm hoping like you guys are getting this. Yeah, Janelle, you're getting it a little bit. That so like for me, like when I kick it into gear, it's all about full steam ahead on sending out the invitations for people to be able to join me in that online class. That is what I'm going to do to go into forward, because it feels really good and it feels really right and it feels like so exciting to share this information with people I love. You can't get to that place with the distractions. You've got to put down whatever your distraction is, a cigarette, a book, your social media feeds, the alcohol. They're like, oh, it's just one glass of wine that turns into 3 or 4 glasses of wine. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to set all of that stuff down to get to whether you need to move forward or you need to turn around and go in reverse. And there's times for both, right? Remember that. And if you missed the beginning of the video, please go back and hear the value of reverse, which is just as important at times in our life as it is going forward. Let's wrap up with an oracle card. I feel like we're dropping a lot of really good juice and information on you, and we're just going to tie it all together today with a Mother Mary oracle. This is really like hands down my favorite deck. So if it seems like we use it a lot, it's because it's just got great messages and great energy and good vibes. So when you work with me one-on-one and in person, I let you choose where in the deck your card is. And as I said that, I heard that some of you still may be a little bit stuck or stumbling around the forward and reverse thing. And I would invite you to jump into either today's group session of mini messages, which is for up to 5 people. I do have spots open, and you can sign up by 5 p.m. Pacific for that session. That's at 5:30 p.m. Pacific over at Kathy-Weiss.com and click on Work With Me, or thejoyhealer.com and then click on Work With Me to sign up for that. You can also sign up for a private mini or a full-length session. I do have some room this week, which is like, this is a good week for it, because sometimes what we need is affirmation from an outside impartial source. And when I am channeling information and messages for you, the judgmental part of my mind basically shuts down. And so I am really impartial to the information that comes up, and that can be like really helpful and affirming as far as the guidance and direction that you need to go. But I'm pulling the card because it's us, and this is Our Lady of Great Power. This card is just so gorgioso, and it does have a lot going on. And when I use cards, I sort of invite people to look at the image and see if there's anything about the image that jumps out, or if there's something about the words that jump out. And for me today was more the words for you guys in this message, which was as Our Lady of Great Power. I'm sure you've heard this before. Oh, and Janelle, you're gonna see me on Friday. High five, sister. Like, we'll clarify your forward or reverse if we need to. But for the rest of us, Our Lady of Great Power. I'm sure you've heard that phrase, like, the power resides within you. It is very true. And it is a skill and an art. And and there is a weaving of your personal energy and taking responsibility for the energy that you bring and put out into the world, combined with your action steps. I don't want anyone to ever hear like a energy work and energy healing and using law of attraction and things like that is where we're just going to sit back and wave our magic fairy wand and poof, it all happens. Because you do have to take aligned action. You have to do things in the real world. But your power comes from when you align with what that message was talking about, when you align with what feels good, what feels right, what is deep in your heart as the truth about what direction in life you should be moving, and then you take the aligned action steps, it feels like magic. It feels like ease. It feels like you didn't do anything. It feels like fun. It feels like joy. It feels like excitement. Like I'm so excited about just talking about it. And I think that's where people get confused when we talk about law of attraction and manifestation and energy. It's because when we get into that place, it feels magical. It feels like we didn't do anything, even though we are. And from the outside looking in, when somebody's like, oh my gosh, high vibe attracts your tribe, high vibe attracts your life, but that kind of thing, and we're all gushing and excited about it, it can be easy to think that like we're just sitting around eating bonbons and millions of dollars drop in our lap, and that would be awesome, but that's not how it works. It comes from the action steps that you take that are aligned with what feel good in your heart, and it feels like magic and fun and joy. And I can teach you how. The Joy Academy is coming very soon. Applications are going to open May 7th, unless you would like a personal pre-invitation. But again, if you want a personal pre-invitation to the Joy Academy, you have to send me your email address and ask for it. Let's peek into the guidebook, and then we need to get out of here because we've done all kinds of good stuff today. As a part of our honest, emotional human journey, we are asked to feel challenging emotions. Amen. That's what I was talking about. You got to feel that shiz so that you know which way to go. Your emotions are part of what help you rally the courage and strength to make choices that are helpful and healing to ourselves and to our planet. It takes a great leader to be a warrior for love on this planet. And the leader does not give us false hope. I hope you heard that loud and clear. I didn't mean for this card to be about me, but I really hope you heard that part of the message loud and clear. That I don't want to give you false hope about energy healing and that like magic is going to happen. It just feels like it. You still got to show up and do the work and take the action. Okay, and then all the problems are just magically going to go away. This card is so perfect that they're not going to magically go away, especially if we just close our eyes and hope hard enough. So what we need from not only me, but for you in your life is to be someone with genuine encouragement and empowerment, honesty about what is really possible, and that the things that are going on that aren't right in this planet that also need healing, it can happen when we acknowledge that there is a great wounding in our life or in our planet that needs repair, and that we're not going to gloss over it because we don't want to feel those difficult feelings. Okay? And the special message is this: no matter what we may be trying to accomplish upon the earth, the divine has the power to assist us towards success, and that power is beyond any obstacle. That really does lie within you and your ability to align with source energy. It's all possible. I'm right here to walk beside you, to help you, to guide you through, and empower you to take those action steps that bring you to that place that feels like deep fulfillment and freedom at the level of your soul. I am so right here with you guys. Book into mini messages by 5 o'clock today, Monday, March 9th, or book a private session with me, and let's get you jamming forward or reverse this week because it's going to be a wild and exciting ride. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Monday for another weekly intuitive and clairvoyant energy reading. Namaste. Bye, guys. Love you.